Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. We're still here in Simi Valley. It's gotten a little bit hotter. I'm still here with Kurt, and we are gonna dig into his Blazer because, for one, the fit and finish is extraordinary on this thing. The paint, the body work, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you build all kinds of stuff, but this is yours, and you like to autocross. What made you want to do autocross with a Blazer? I'm curious.
Well, I had bought the Blazer long ago, and it was just a roller. I looked at a C5 Corvette. The wheelbase and the track width and everything was pretty close to the Blazer, so I ended up locating a C5 Corvette that was wrecked at LKQ. Went ahead and started the project with that. So I just took the Blazer body and went in there with a plasma cutter around the perimeter, cut the floor out, and dropped the body on a little bit lower in the front than the rear to get the wheels and everything to look right. Went ahead and removed all the original floors from the Blazer and then filled in all the holes. We've got 19 by 12 front and rear on this thing. I wanted to put bigger tires on it, so I went ahead and pushed the fenders out and stretched the metal with the Porta Power on both sides in the front and then also in the rear to get things to be a little bit wider.
So what do you run tire size then on here?
So this is 315/30/19.
Squared on the whole?
Squared, yeah. So these things easily fit and go on and off and turn full lock to lock and everything.
You said that's a carbon fiber hood?
Yeah, I had a carbon fiber hood made because the stock hood was steel.
Yeah.
And that was 78 pounds and this new one's 22. And obviously with putting the body over top of the chassis, I just cut the firewall out and made all new pieces to go around the motor. I've had a couple motors and I had the stock Corvette motor in it, the LS1, and that thing didn't have enough power. I switched to an LS3. That wasn't enough power because this thing is a little on the heavy side. This is now a LS7, so it's a 454. Dan Brewer at Schaefer Racing Engines, he put this thing together. I told him kind of where we wanted to be on horsepower. So this thing now makes to the flywheel 737 on 101, naturally aspirated. So
wow, man. And
Yeah.
you're pushed like way back here again, like you are.
I mean, this is the stock location for a Corvette.
For a Corvette.
For a Corvette, yes.
What is your distribution? Do you know? Have you?
It's 52 rear, and this thing's 36/40 on the weight. So we got a couple hundred pounds on a Corvette.
Which still, considering the size of the vehicle, is not bad.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, the only problem is that some of the weight is up high, where a Corvette's a lot lower.
Right.
And we've got like 1,300 pound springs in the front, where a Corvette you're gonna have like 700.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you still have the handling capabilities of, you know, the chassis and the suspension and control arms and everything. So.
Because all that's C5 still. How long have you had this for, and how long has it been like in this version?
I bought the Blazer back in like 2010.
Pretty beat when you got it.
I mean, it looked just like this. I haven't done anything to the paint on the outside except for the hood and a couple other items. I got this thing running in 2016 and it took about 2.5 years, you know, nights and weekends after work. This thing was going from a street car and then it's turned into more street/race. Now it's like almost full race.
I mean, just from the sound of it alone,
Yeah.
dude, it's like it sounds like a total race vehicle, you know. What does your engine go to transmission-wise and rear end, all that?
So it's got the stock Corvette torque tube. I put a new transmission in from RPM, so it's still got the C5 transmission in the rear, the 6-speed, and then the C5 diff and control arms and everything in the rear.
You did say it has mufflers, right?
Yeah, they just kind of maybe muffle it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very little.
barely any. So on the Corvette, the exhaust came together in the middle. So I had the exhaust like that for a while and the plate over to the side, and then I'm like, you know what, it looks so much better with the plate in the middle and the exhaust on both sides. So
Yeah.
I modified the exhaust, moved the mufflers. It's kind of funny that the license plate says true C5, so a two-wheel drive Blazer is a C5, and then the 03 Corvette is known as the C5, so I found it kind of funny to put that on the license plate. And I changed the emblem on the front fender. Usually they're K5, so I took a 5 from another emblem, cut it, and glued it together and made it so it says C5 Blazer.
Blazer. And I'm curious, all the names on the side, I mean, obviously your company's shop, are these people that sponsor and work with you?
Yeah, Hills Rod and Custom is my company, and then I've worked with JJ at Ultimate Performance. He's helped out with the shock tuning and changed the shock from a C5 and gone through and re-valved them a couple times. K&N helped out with the air cleaner, track spec on the hood, Van Steel with the bushings, and a lot of tech support with those guys. Willwood helped out quite a bit. I'm running the billet specialty wheels, the top loaders. They helped out with the 19x12s. In the autocross, community, there's a lot of guys out there. I got this thing out there, and Mike Meyer started helping out with, just ideas, and Scott Fraser and Bruce Camburn just helped out with, developing the springs and the bars and all the setup on this thing and getting this thing to handle like it needed to.
Yeah, it's so cool that there's that kind of camaraderie in that whole autocross community.
Yeah. So if you open the door, you can see the Corvette chassis is right there. And then I made the floor that raised it up so you can actually see out of the windshield, because the Corvette you'd be sitting, 8 inches down.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I tried that. You couldn't see. I couldn't see over the dash.
Yeah.
So.
That just looks bitchin'. It makes it look that much more race car too.
Yeah, so I mounted the seats to it so the seats slide back and forth. You have the stock Corvette pedals in there and pedal assembly I had to modify a little bit.
That's a super cool window crank. I like that.
I mean, just put a vice grip on there, you're fine.
So back to the dash. So that's all from the C5.
Yeah, so that's a C5 gauge unit. And then the steering column, the steering wheel, everything works, all the wipers, the headlights and everything.
Oh, it does still have a back seat.
A back seat that folds down, and I've autocrossed with 4 people in this thing.
Come on.
I swear, yeah.
And so it's caged all the way through, yeah?
Yeah, so I got a main hoop that goes to the windshield frame and then comes all the way back and stiffens up the chassis in the rear.
Yeah.
So the body is attached to the frame for life. One of the other things I did was the fuel tank was right here. So I took the Corvette fuel door here and then cut it into the Blazer and then welded around and made stuff and then kind of painted it so you can't tell that it's been modified.
That's really cool.
Because usually the filler is back here, yeah.
Yeah. All right, you guys, we're gonna go drive this thing. I'm genuinely curious. Wow, thanks for letting me drive, man.
No problem.
I appreciate it, Kurt.
Yeah, some of the things we've changed on this thing on the front geometry is sped up the steering, so it's a lot quicker than a Corvette.
Just wild to feel that quick of steering it. I don't know, the only Blazers I've ever driven were like, set up for off-road stuff, or just like an old stock one. I mean, you're in such a cool driving position.
Yeah, I mean, the seats easily slides back and forth for different drivers or whoever.
What is there, pins that you pull?
Yeah, you pull the pins and slides back.
Yeah. Fuck, this thing sounds just so evil.
So with the car, the C5 Corvette, the radiator is usually tilted backwards. So the air has to come in, go through the radiator, and then go back down towards the ground, or have holes in the hood to let it out of the engine bay. So what one of my friends did, and a couple of other guys, they lean the radiator forward so the air comes in through the splitter, through the radiator and out the hood. On a road course, it'll sit at 200 degrees and sit there and not overheat. The other thing is I learned with the air cleaner out front to get cold air, it messes with the mass airflow and makes the motor run right. So I put a piece of cardboard in temporarily to fix the problem doing road course stuff.
I love that you fixed it with a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
Man, just barely any braking, and it's like the lightest touch.
Oh, yeah. If there's a problem, mash them. We got ABS. It'll stop immediately.
Nuts, man. Your pedals are right where you want them to be able to brake and flip.
Those pedals are exactly the Corvette spacing. Those are Corvette pedals out of the C5 I got. So I kept everything the same.
It's perfect. I mean, it's literally perfect. It actually drives, though, really bitchin', dude. It's not a hard one to drive.
My daughter, before she was 16, I had her out there racing at the autocross in this car, learning how to drive and going around cones and
all my. Is this kind of what she learned how to drive in?
Well, one of the cars, yeah.
With your company, besides building full, like, I'm going to go autocross road course, you do like street rods and stuff like that as well, huh?
Yeah, we do street rods. I've done 51 Studebaker Woody that didn't exist. We made all the stuff from scratch. All we had was the hood, fenders, and got a new frame from Morrison. We've done 63 Falcon rally car that has gone all around the world and done different rallies.
Oh my God, dude, this thing is total insanity. What the fuck is this thing? Well, that is a serious proper build in my opinion. That is a vehicle built to drive hard. It does everything it's supposed to. And braking, the only thing I can compare that to reminds me of Greg Thurman's C2 Corvette, that hard braking with the ABS coming into play. Just unreal build, man. I definitely enjoyed this one and I hope you guys did too. And I will see you in the next one. All right, man, later.